everybody, and welcome to another Doctor Who review. This time I'm reviewing an 11th Doctor story. It's The Hungry Earth, Cold Blood. As you know, when I do a Doctor Who review for the revived TV series, there is no plot synopsis and a television companion, so I will try and give a plot synopsis of my own. The Doctor, Amy and Rory arrive in South Wales in the year 2020. In the valleys, there is a drill site. This drill is manned by Tony and Nazreen, and they are trying to drill down as far as they can into the earth to find out if there's any minerals that they've found in the surrounding area that they can use to commercially exploit. The drill has got down as far as 21 kilometres, but that's interfering with oxygen pockets of the Silurians, who are deep underground. Some of the Silurians have been awoken, and their armed guard have come up to try and take hostages to experiment with, including Tony's grandson, Elliot, and his son-in-law. Amy is also taken down after the ground literally opens up underneath her. The Doctor vows to go down via the TARDIS to the underground caverns where all the hibernation's happening for the Silurians. One of the guard, Alea, is left up on the surface after being captured, and is effectively going to be used as a bargaining chip for the others. However, Ambrose, fearful for the loss of her husband and her son, tries to use a taser on Alea to try and get her to agree to exchange, and Alea is subsequently killed from this. One of Alea's gene pool, Restak, is vengeful, and after peace talks have been started with the leader Eldane down in the caverns and the hibernation chambers of the Silurians, or the Homo Reptillia, as they are known in this story by the 11th Doctor, Restak goes against her leader's orders and starts an assault on the surface. Eldane uses a gas which prevents intruders, and most of the army are subdued back into the hibernation chambers. Restak is vengeful and ends up finding the Rory, Doctor and Amy after the others have been rescued, apart from Tony and Nazreen, who decide to stay, and Rory is killed after trying to save the Doctor from being shot by Restak. Rory is then taken over by the crack in the wall, and the time light has come and taken him and wipes him from time. Amy forgets Rory, and the Doctor and Amy travel on after he's had a firm word with Ambrose to say to her that what she did was wrong, but she needs to make sure that Elliot does not take this as the right thing to do and learns from it. Okay, this is a two-part story, and it's written by Chris Chibnall, so it is another Chibnall script. It is the return of the Silurians to the series since Warriors of the Deep. What I find nifty about this one is that the redesign of the Silurians are seen as a different clan, a different part of the species, which I thought was a really interesting way of explaining why they have changed appearance and look different from what the Silurians did in the Third Doctor and Fifth Doctor's eras. Very interesting point in the way they've done that. Let's get on with the characters, and let's go through some of the main cast and have a description of what's happened, and then go through some of the bits I like and the bits I don't like of this story. We start with the Doctor, played by Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor, of course. Do you know what? Matt Smith in the first series seems to have a lot to go with, and they're building a character with, and we're seeing a characterization of a Doctor who doesn't want people to be killed, but has that kind of steel that he needs to try and threaten people. And I love the conversation he has with Alea in the first episode, where Alea is trying to claim to be the last of her species to protect the others, and the Doctor says, I see right through that because I'm the last of the species. That's a lovely little talk. The fact the Doctor is trying to keep everybody safe and makes it perfectly clear nobody's to hurt Alea while he's down trying to negotiate with the Silurians for the release of the others. But, of course, Ambrose comes in and interferes with that. I think Matt Smith has a lot to do here. I think it's really good. I love the kind of whimsical mad professor that comes out here with Matt Smith. He's not so much wavy arms in this one. He's a bit more serious and a bit more able to react to the situation better than he does in other stories. I really like the way the Doctor's portrayed here. It's really comfortable, and you needed somebody who could very strongly hit it off the bat as a new incarnation of the Doctor after David Tennant, because Tennant was such a strong Doctor and such a popular Doctor, And I think Matt Smith actually nails the performance for that reason, and he absolutely knocks everything, gets out of the park. It's quite a good written script as well. It's not kind of, they're not relying on him just to play the part with his usual characterization of happy-go-lucky, crazy mad professor. They actually give him some meaty emotional bits to do here. The bit when when he loses Amy, and the awkward conversation he has with Rory when Rory finds out that Amy's been taken. That's really nicely done. I really like the way that's been put across, and I think it's a really nice way that it's been put forward here by the writing, and I love the way that there's a good frisson between them. The relationship between him and Amy and Rory is starting to build. You can tell that Rory is appreciated as much as Amy is in this one. He's not really a side character. There is a bond between them, and Rory seems to trust the Doctor as well, which is really nice to see. Speaking of the two companions, we have Karen Gillan playing Amy Pond. This is the Amy Pond who is a bit scared, but also trying to show her toughness through when she's imprisoned and taken over for scientific experiments, and seems to be enjoying and reveling in the whole discussion with the Doctor when they first enter the drilling site and meet Tony and Nazreen, and the Doctor who does his usual bluffing through. I think Karen Gillan's got a bit to do here, but it's not so much Amy's story in that respect. The story of the companion is more Rory's in this one, and it's really nice to see. And you probably need that, because obviously they've set up that Rory is killed at the end of this. And yes, the trope of Rory dying all the time starts in this story, but it is needed that she takes a bit of a back seat, which is why she becomes imprisoned and fends for herself when she's down there, when she manages to escape her bonds. It more or less second fiddle companion this time round in the respect to the casting and the story, because Rory's the focus, because you need that emotional bond with Rory to actually make it more heartbreaking when he is killed later in the story, because you see a good man there, you see a good man who's loyal and wants to help and has a great little intelligence. And I love the frisson that we have between Rory and the Doctor, and we'll go into that now with Arthur Darvill playing Rory Williams. Rory is loved by people in the world of Doctor Who. I can see why he's loved, because when you get parts like this and when you get stories like this, you see the side of the Rory, the one where he cares for his wife. He's still a little bit awkward, but that loyalty factor has transferred to the Doctor, and the relationship between the Doctor and Rory is strengthened in this one because of the way it all works out and the way the story works, because he knows he has to trust the Doctor to get Amy back. I love the way that Arthur Darvill plays this. I think he's probably the best of the main cast in this story, and it really does then pay off when Rory saves the Doctor later, when Restak shoots at the Doctor, and that really makes a difference. I think the best scene he has is the bit at the end when he apologises. That's really Rory. It really is heartbreaking, and it's really well played, and I like the way it's put forward, and I really do like the way that Rory is written here and is portrayed here, and it's really nice to see. We then have some of the guest cast. I'll come back to one of the standout performances in a minute. We have Meera Syal playing Nazreen Chowdhury. I love the rapport that Nazreen has with not just the Doctor, because she immediately believes him when he comes in and says, I can help and fix the problems with the holes in the ground and that, and she immediately is part of it. She wants to try and explore a bit more. She's got that kind of childish curiosity, which is why she goes down in the TARDIS with the Doctor down to underground, which is really nice to see. I think Meera Syal has a very good role here. She's got good acting chops for this, and it really works. It's really nice, and I like the way that she's been put across here. Is definitely not silly or stupid, but she's definitely got a heart, which really comes across here. It's a nice way it's been acted and written in this story. We then have Robert Pugh, who is playing Tony Mack, the other member of the main team. Robert's great. I like Robert. I like the way he's put across here with this. The fact he gets hit by venom by Leia at one point when he's trying to save Ambrose from being hurt or attacked when Leia's causing ambush in the graveyard outside the church that they're all holed up in, is a really nice touch. I do like the way that it's played by Robert Pugh. I think it makes there's a good heartfelt there of a man who knows he knows his way. He knows he has to do the right thing, and he chides his daughter when his daughter kills Leia, and that's a really nice touch. I really like that. I think it's a really nice part overall, and I think it's nicely played. We then have Samuel Morgan Davis, who plays Wee Elliot. Lovely little role for the child role. You can get the Doctor being endeared to here because he's got a great rapport with Elliot. And then when Elliot says he's gone to get his headphones, and then all hell breaks loose afterwards, it's nice the Doctor owns up and feels bad about the whole situation that's occurred with Elliot being taken. And I think it's a nice little role that's been given by Elliot here, and it's played very well by Samuel Morgan Davis. Very nice indeed. We then have Nia Roberts playing Ambrose. Probably there's no big bad in here, but she's probably the problem one. She's the nervous human. She's the bad human, as the Doctor would say, the worst of humanity, not the best of humanity. And it's all because she wants to protect her family and get her family back. And she wants to protect her father, who's obviously been poisoned by Alea, or effectively there's a transformation going on. It's explained later on in a throwaway line, but it's an interesting way it's been played, and Neil Roberts does a very good job here of actually coming across as a very worried mother and daughter and wife, and it's a really great focal point, and she's the cusp of why the violence happens because of the action she does. The Doctor's managed to get through to the Silurians and try to talk to them and try to play the same playbook he did all that time ago as the fifth and third Doctors, when the Doctor met Silurians before. And it did work then, and it's worked again now. And it's really nice to see that there is always going to be somebody that causes the ruckus and the problem. I can't remember who it is in the Warriors in Deep, but the Brigadier causes it in Doctor Who and the Silurians, where the Silurians are destroyed. I really like the way that Nia Roberts' Ambrose is used here as the crux for all the events that happen and all the disagreements that happen. I think it's a really nice little role. Honourable mention to Richard Hope, who plays Malekith. Very interesting scientific character. It just shows two different types of characters, like the original Silurians did, because you had the scientist, you had the leader, and you had the more aggressive one. Very nice, and I do like the way it's played by Richard Hope. Stephen Moore, nice play as Eldane. Has the gravitas to make it look like he is the leader. And I love the conversation they have when they try and hash out Nasreen, Amy, and Eldine, the truce and the treaty for the Silurians and the humans to work together. I do like that way that's put across. The standout performance in this one of the guest cast is Niamh McIntosh, who of course is better known as Madame Vastra later on, another Silurian, but this is her first appearance in Doctor Who, and she just gets it. This gravitas, there's this kind of emotion here and this kind of will to do the right thing for her people and be very protective. And Niamh McIntosh knocks it out the park. She gives the kind of gravitas and the understandable anger the Silurians to what's happened with the humans. Her xenophobic tendencies of trying to wipe out the human race are old-fashioned, which is obviously picked up on, but she moves in a way that's very lizard-like. She moves in a kind of way that makes her feel like a completely different race, never mind a human dressed up in a costume. It's really well done, and I really like the way that Niamh McIntosh portrays not just Alea but also Restak as well, the two different sides of that race. To see the major warrior cast, the head warrior in Restak, and then Alea, who's one of the soldiers and is very much trained like a soldier, and it looks very nice. Okay, let's have a look at some of the bits of the story. Actually, the way he directs it very well. I think the way it's put forward is great. I love the fact there's some low angles when they keep to the same eye level when the Doctor's trying to save Amy when she's in the ground. I love that. I love the way it's shot. There's a bit of nighttime filming as well as daytime filming in the surroundings, because there's a big dome that covers the village perimeter when the Silurians are about to attack. I love that kind of idea of this technology coming in from a race that's more advanced and civilized. I like the fact the Silurians have been reimagined a little bit, but the basic tenets of the Silurians haven't changed. There's a misunderstanding. They were there first. They feel that they should be right to the planet. But some Silurians realise there's been evolution. Some Silurians realise there hasn't. I love the fact that's been kept, and Chris Chibnall has tapped into that and made sure that the script reflects that situation. And what happened in the 1970s with Doctor Who and Silurians, and then Warriors in the Deep in the 80s, is very much relevant in 2010 as well when this is written. This kind of idea of the xenophobia and different races and different cultures trying to work together and having big difference, sometimes having more similarities and differences, but they don't necessarily see that. That's very true now. Then, even nowadays, it's very true. And the idea of that is still very strong now. It's a great story because the Doctor works with that. And the Doctor's tried that before and wants to have another opportunity. This is his third opportunity to try and have some sort of way with the Silurians. And it's interesting how that all works. And I like the way that's written down. I think the direction's very well done. I think the characters have all been, the actors have all been given a chance to make sure they play it the way they want to play it. I think it's very nicely produced and made. I love the way the whole production is done. I think it's a very nice and very well run production. It doesn't seem to have too much padding. I think it may have been a little bit too short. It might have been dealt with maybe having a bit too much crammed into the 2 episodes, possibly. The cliffhanger's a little bit iffy from the Hungry Earth. The Doctor and Nazreen come and see see the city of the Silurians, and that's your cliffhanger. It's not really a cliffhanger. That's more like a, whoa, what's happening here? Hang on a minute. It's kind of like Frontier in Space that I reviewed before. This cliffhanger just comes and goes, well, that's not a big cliffhanger, really. Maybe it's maybe traditional Doctor Who, but you usually expect a bit more high tension, and this didn't have it, which is a bit interesting. I love the fact that Amy and Rory from 2020 are waving from a distance to Amy and Rory in 2010. I think it's a really lovely thing. And you wonder why they've got that in there, because at the start, but then when Rory dies, and then it's just Amy waving to Amy, I thought that's a really interesting plot point and a way of proving that Rory has been removed from time. I think the whole story setting up for Rory to be killed in this one makes it more emotional weight for Amy in the next story, Vincent the Doctor, which people say is one of the best stories of the season. I've still to review it, so I can't give you my rating for that. I quite like the way it's been written by Chris Chibnall. I think Murray Gold is very much complementing the music, although I'm the Doctor has been used quite a few times here where the Doctor's got a plan or he's wanting to do something. It's really used as a leitmotif of the Doctor going to action more than actually any emotional things like the previous Doctor themes were. But it doesn't overpower the story. It doesn't make it any worse. It's just really there to lighten the mood. And I didn't really notice much of Murray Gold's music here. And that's the sort of music that works when his music doesn't overpower the piece, which it does in some of the later Matt Smith and definitely Capaldi stories. Overall, I like this one. I like coming back to this one. It was really nice watching it again and just seeing how well put together it is and how well the production values are. And you don't get the sense this is a cheap episode either. They've actually had a good budget or decent budget for this one. The sets for the Silurian base down below is really nice. I love the fact they've went for a more natural look with everything. All the vines and undergrounds. It looks lovely. It looks really good. And obviously the main debating hall and execution chamber, as Restat calls it, is really nice as well. I like the way that's put forward. For this, I'm going to give it, I'm not quite going to give it 4, but I will give it 3.5 TARDISes out of 5. Okay, let's see how The Hungry Earth Cold Blood fits in with the rest of the Matt Smith stories I've reviewed so far, and how it fits in with the rest of the stories of the TV series that I've reviewed so far as well. The Hungry Earth Cold Blood sits in with 4 other stories rated 3.5 TARDISes out of 5. They are Amy's Choice, The Pandorica Opens the Big Bang, The Crimson Horror, and A Christmas Carol. 5 stories are at the bottom of the Matt Smith era with 3 TARDISes out of 5. They are The Name of the Doctor, Nightmare in Silver, Hyde, The Power of 3, and Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. The best rated story of the Matt Smith era so far is The Day the Doctor with 4.5 TARDISes out of 5. Overall, there are still 2 stories with 2.5 TARDISes out of 5. They are Sleep No More and Timelash, and at the top, including The Day the Doctor on 4.5 TARDISes out of 5, there are 6 other stories that have the same rating. They are The Happiness Patrol, Inferno, The Caves of Androzani, The Tomb of the Cybermen, Dalek, and The End of Time. That's it from me. Thanks guys for watching this Doctor Who review. Tell me what you think about The Hungry Earth Cold Blood. Leave a comment down below. Did you like it? Leave a comment down below. Did you not like it? Leave a comment down below. If you like this video, please like it, share it with the hashtag teamstructor, and if you like the channel as a whole, please hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell so you know when a new video comes out. Next video is in 2 weeks' time. It's every second Sunday at 4 PM GMT, and that's when the next video is. It's a Kidstructor, and it's going to be the Dreamstone that Fraser and I have reacted to. So hopefully you can join me for that. But until next time guys, thank you very much for watching, and you know what? I'll see you later.